What's up people, Andrew Gosling back again. It's been a fair while since I actually put together a video. Last time was just after the fourth round of the Australian Superbike Championship. I did a rundown on that. Thought it was about time that I put together or got the channel back on track a little bit in two ways. One, by actually doing some videos. It kind of helps to have some content, but also when I originally started the idea of putting this channel together, it was more about the photography aspect of things versus the bikes. I was always planning to try and include both the photography as the main aspect, bike racing, and the other aspects of bikes along the way. It kind of drifted very quickly to a point where it was more about the bikes, which is fine. People like that, and I will continue to do that for absolute certain. But I thought, given that I'm just about ready to, or getting ready to go to Darwin for the fifth round of the Australian Superbike Championship next week, it might be a good opportunity to get a bit more photographic focus, and to talk about how I'm preparing to go there, how I prepare to go, particularly to a flyaway round. Flyaway rounds, by their nature, are different to a round that I can drive to. The gear I can take, the amount of gear I can take, how I have to transport that gear is different to just throwing a whole bunch of stuff in the back of a car. I will do another video maybe before the next round of superbikes on what I take to a normal round. And the amount of gear I take to a normal round is quite insane. Because of the number of people and the people that I do work for, I tend to carry everything just about up to, well, pretty much a full studio of gear. I carry strobes, often backdrops. I might include in this some of the sort of photos that I've had to do, and that the expectation is that I'll have gear available to be able to produce those images. I've kind of built a rod for my back by producing images and requiring that gear. Going to Darwin, can't do that. I've got limitations on the gear I can carry, and I've got to also think about how I'm going to transport that. Normally, this is my main bag. It's a Think Tank International V3, I think it's on the back, I can't read it. Love Think Tank bags. They are, in my opinion, just the best. This is the largest camera style roller bag that Think Tank make. It can handle in my case, two bodies, 500mm lens, assortment of lenses, flashes, batteries, various bits and pieces. Can fit it all in comfortably. I can basically, this can be just a one bag roll in and work. There's room for notebooks, whatever in the front, if that's how you want to go. So you can quite literally carry this as a one piece unit. Downside is it's very heavy. This, I think at this point in time, weighs somewhere in the 25 to 30 kilo range. I haven't exactly weighed it, and given that I'm travelling with Jetstar, there is no way known I would get this through check-in as carry-on. Even though it's, the size of it is quite usable as carry-on, there's no way they would let me take this on as carry-on. So I'm left with the unfortunate situation where I have to do something I don't like to do, and that's actually check camera gear in. If I'm going to do that, there really is only one way to carry gear, and that is Pelican trunks. These things, even baggage handlers can't break these things. I've had this Pelican trunk since, I think, 05, something like that. The first trip it actually made was to Darwin for a V8 supercar round. I've replaced the internal foam in it because the original deteriorated. I cut out foam to basically fit the gear that I take and use. I can lock this up and I can at least be certain that as long as they don't lose it, they can't kill it, and they can't kill what's inside of it. So that's how the gear that I'm taking to Darwin will be going with me. That will get checked in. What will I be taking? This is the, I don't know, 4th or 5th time I've been to Darwin, so I know the track reasonably well. It's not like when I went to the Bend where it was totally new, had no idea what was going on. I know Darwin pretty well. And the gear I'm taking this year is going to slightly differ from what I took last year, just on the grounds that I've got some new gear, but also I found that some of what I took last year didn't really work as well as I would have liked. Just made life a little more difficult than it should have. Starting point: camera bodies. Good old faithful Canon 1DXs. These are original Series 1 Canon 1DXs. I've had these cameras, one of them is about 4 years old and one of them is 5 years old. They are just workhorses. They just keep on trucking, and I don't see a need to upgrade them at this point in time because, quite frankly, they do everything I need to do. Nobody complains about the image quality that I get out of them. They work great in so many conditions. They are just a beast of a camera, and just love them. I'll be taking 2 of those. If nothing else, you need to have redundancy in the gear that you carry. There's no point in turning up to an event of any kind, be it a race, a wedding, whatever you're doing, with one camera, because it can fail. In 2012 I went to the Suzuka 8 Hour. I had at the time a Canon 1D Mark IV and a Canon 1D Mark IIN, so my first 1 series camera. I walked down into pit lane. I'd basically been at the track for an hour. I picked the 1D Mark IIN up, hit the shutter, about 4 or 5 shutter releases, and crunch, the shutter failed on it. I was left with one body for the rest of the time, but at least I did have a body. I had a second body that I could work with. There is no way I could travel anywhere with a single body. It's just asking for trouble. The other camera that I'll be taking, I'll just reach over here. The other camera I'll be taking is my 7D Mark II. 7D Mark II, unlike the 1D, is a crop body camera, so it's a 1/6 crop, so it has a smaller sensor in it. Really good camera. I'd been looking at putting a crop camera in my kit for some time, and was fortunate enough that my wife decided that she would just go ahead and do it for me, and I got me the 7D Mark II. The only thing I really need to do, and I just keep not having time to get around to it, is put a battery grip on it. It's uncomfortably small when using larger lenses, but for general use it is awesome. And it gives you, because of the crop factor, we'll look at this again when I talk about the lenses I'm taking, it gives you that crop multiplication on the lens, so a 300 becomes a 480 effectively, that sort of thing. The other thing that this is really good for, and that this will be getting used for, is this will become my vlogging camera when I'm in Darwin. Normally I would take the Canon M3 that is being used at the moment, but that's just another camera that I have to carry, and I can't see, with the amount of space I have, that it'll fit in. So this will do duty. It does a really nice video anyway, so I'm happy with that. Okay, lenses. Wide 1740, Old Faithful. This is actually the 3rd 1740 that I've had. I have unfortunately managed to break 2 previous ones. I I've actually got one in the other room, the last one that I broke. They are one of Canon's cheaper L series lens. They're older, they don't have image stabilization, but it just does everything that I need. When I broke the last one, I looked at going to the 1635, which is, yes, optically and in every way a better lens, but I just couldn't see the point. And the fact is they didn't have one in stock either, so this is what I've got. That is just a lens that always goes with me. Another lens that always goes with me, 7200. This is the second oldest L series lens that I have. This is a 7200 Mark 1. Canon's just released the Mark 3. So that'll give you an idea how old this lens is. I've had this lens for about 12 years, and I've been asked any number of times, why haven't you upgraded? Why didn't you get a Mark 2? Well, the lens does everything I need. It's super sharp, it focuses beautifully, and in the 12 years I've had it, the only thing that's ever really gone wrong is that on 2 occasions, just out of use, it has loosened up at the joints. I've sent it back to Canon, they fixed it, and away it goes. When it does finally stop working, that's when I'll get one of the later models. The only thing I do wish it had, which the newer models have, is that the lens hood on the newer models locks on. This one doesn't, which it has a tendency to fall off, and I've almost lost it a number of times, but it keeps going. So 7200. Now the other lens that I'll be taking, last year I took the 500 f4, and I found that it was just on a number of occasions it was just too long. Darwin is a circuit where you can get quite close to the track, and I just found that it was cramping somewhat. So this year I'll be reverting back and just taking my little 300, little baby one. It gives me the advantage that it probably weighs, I don't know, a kilo or so less than the 500, and so it's a bit smaller, but it just gives me that it's not as tight, and so it'll work as well. Now the advantage of having the 7D, just the 7D, not the 70D, is that this becomes, on that body, a 480mm lens. So I'm almost back to what the 500 is anyway. Because the other thing that I'll be adding is a 1.4 Mark III teleconverter, which means that I can put the 300 as an f4 onto my 1Ds and get 480, or if need be I can go basically as far as a 600mm on the 7D, and have basically no loss of quality, autofocus, any of those things. So in preference, the 500 this time is staying home. Yes, I'd love to be able to take both, because I'm sure there are points in time where I'll go, oh, I wish I just had that bit of extra focal length, but the 300 will do the job very adequately for me. Other things I'll take. I will take a pair of Canon 600 EXRT speed lights. Normally these are just the workhorse speed lights. Again, they just go forever. I've killed a couple, knocked feet off them, had Canon fix them. They just keep on going, and it's basically what I can fit in this time. Normally I would take some of the Go Dogs, like the AD200s, the AD600s. I may even, depending on how the luggage situation's going, slip one of the AD200s in, just in case I need some more power. The other thing that I will take, if I can find it, is this is actually a Fotix Lasso transmitter. It's not the actual Canon transmitter, but it works with the Canon transmitter. It misses a couple of features that the Canon one does, but unlike the Canon, it has AF assist on it, which isn't really going to be an issue for me this time. But when you're using these at events, indoors and that sort of thing, the AF assist on them, I don't actually know why Canon didn't have that feature. So that's a Fotix Lasso, but it is the Canon transmitter. If I take one of the Godox AD200s, then I'll take the appropriate transmitter to go with those as well. They're small, they're light, they're no real problem. Each of the 1DXs has got a pair of 32 gig memory cards in it, and I'll also carry, not that one, I'll also carry 4 spares. All Lexar cards. I've been a Lexar user for over a decade. I basically try not to use anything else. Not sure how we're going to go now that Lexar isn't being made, or I don't actually know what the status of it is. I'm looking at a company called ProGrade, which has been set up by part of the management team and development team who were with Lexar before Lexar was shut down, or the parent company of Lexar decided to not bother producing these type of products anymore. Real shame. As far as I'm concerned, they were just the best cards. There's only a couple of brands of cards I would use, but Lexar's just my favourite, always has been. Okay, that, apart from things like rocket blowers and that sort of thing, is primarily the kit that I will take. I will be taking for vlogging a microphone I'm going to be testing out. I normally use, at the moment I'm using the Trackstar shotgun sitting over there. But that's got a preamp and all sorts of stuff attached to try and make the sound a bit better. I'm a bit worried today, there's a lot of noise around, but hopefully it'll sound okay. Normally my favourite mic when I'm travelling is the Rode Video Micro, but I'm going to be giving the Movo VXR10 a go. I've had it for a little while. It's about $30 cheaper than the Rode, but I've heard really good things about it, and it also has the advantage that, unlike the Rode where you have to buy it extra, it comes with the appropriate cable to use with a phone, so I can just use the little adapter, plug it into my phone, and if I want to use my phone while I'm traveling to do a little videoing, I can still use and have a better quality microphone. We'll see how it goes. I don't know that I haven't even used this mic to test, so it's just hopefully it all works well. Heard good things about it. Now, some things that I won't be taking to Darwin with me. When I fly, well, some things that I will do. Spare batteries for the cameras are logical. Unfortunately, these days they have to go into carry-on, so because they don't like. Last year, I actually set this case up to carry the batteries, or to carry a couple of these batteries, and got called down into the bowels of Tullamarine Airport because they weren't happy that they were nice and separately located into the case, but they were quite happy for me to just dump them into a bag that I was carrying on. I would have said they were much safer in there for everyone, but they weren't happy with that. But what I won't be taking is batteries for the flashes. When I fly, I never take batteries for the flashes. I just buy a pack of alkaline batteries when I get there. In reality, it's just weight, and it's weight for the batteries, plus I have to carry another charger, which is extra weight and extra things to have to carry. As it is, I have to have chargers for the cameras, so the last thing I need is more battery, more weight, more things to carry. That's pretty much it. That's what I'll be taking. Hopefully that'll give you, some help or some ideas. I don't know. It depends on the sort of gear that you've got as to what you take to a racetrack or you take on a photo shoot. But in how it's transported, I don't like having to check gear in. I've done all sorts of things over the years. I've used camera vests under jackets and put gear in pockets and all sorts of things over the years to avoid carry-on or to avoid having to check gear in. But unfortunately with this, I really have no choice. So it's make the gear as safe as possible and hope that they don't lose it. I will be hopefully doing some vlogs as I go along on my trip to try and give again a bit of a background and insight into what it's like. I don't know if I'll have time to do a run around the circuit. I'm not taking a scooter to Darwin this year. It's not really a track that suits a scooter that well, but hopefully maybe on the Thursday there's a practice day, so I might get out and do a little bit of videoing around just to give an idea of what this track's like. Other than that, hopefully you liked the video, hopefully you found something interesting. If you did, give me a like, subscribe, check notifications, do all those things, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.